friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and welcome to Make and Take Tuesday. This is a little weekly series that I do here where I share a new paper collection or tool or die, technique, product, and we make something beautiful together. It is coming up on fall, so I've pulled out my beautiful new fall papers from Ciao. This collection is called Into the Wild, and it is stunning. It can be used for masculine cards, it can be used for feminine cards, it can be used for home decor. So I'm really excited about this collection. It is beautiful. This is the 12 by 12 paper pad. This has 12 double-sided sheets with gorgeous patterns and designs and images. It is truly, truly stunning. I love fall, and I grew up in Vermont, so I have really fond memories of walking through the woods in the fall with my family, and just the smell of the leaves on the ground and the sound of the little animals scurrying around. This collection brought those beautiful memories right back to me. So I love the color palette. Look at these gorgeous blues and greens, so pretty. And then here are some of the images, the 4x6s, really beautiful, quick and easy cards here. Just lovely. This could even transition over into winter because of the elk and all of that. A beautiful map. And then this is the last page here. Then this is the 12 by 12 patterns. This is 8 double-sided pieces. Also really beautiful. I love the 6x6. So pretty, this gorgeous wood grain, lots of fussy cuts, just beautiful, beautiful patterns. Look at these colors together. It's just like being in the woods in the fall. This plaid is just eye-popping. Lots of little cut aparts. If you're a junk journaler, this would be handy for that. I just can't get over how stunning this collection is. I really, as you can see, I went for it in a big way. And then this is the Creative A4 pad. These are, I think they're 8.5 by, or 8 by 11.5, something like that. They're big. And the images are just precious. This is a lot of cut aparts, images, fussy cuts. There's some patterns in here, of course. But these are like the little extras that you add to your projects that really bring them home and make them super special. So I always try to get the Creative pad when I'm working with Ciao because it's just loaded. It's just loaded with wonderful images. So here we go. And now we're at the end. Look at all these great tags. So I thought about what I wanted to make, and I was kind of stumped. I knew I wanted to do something kind of home decor-ish, and I went looking in the closet, and I found this paper mache box that looks like a book. I've had this for forever, and I did a little mixed media work on it. First, I painted the edges with gathered twigs, and then I came back and went over it with antique bronze, Tim Holtz distress inks, distress paints, and then I came back and like dabbed on a little bit of antique brass and went over it again. You can see, I hope you can see, there's like a little bit of a metallic sheen underneath. And then the last thing I did was I inked it up with ground espresso distress ink. And then to seal it, I brought in this Prima clear gesso. I love this stuff. I mean, when I was touching it before I put the gesso on it, my fingers were coming away completely brown. And you just brush the gesso on, it goes on white, it dries clear, and it creates this wonderful matte finish, and your inks don't come off all over you. So I thought today we'd build the box, and then maybe Thursday we'll go ahead and make what we're going to put inside the box and make this a two-part tutorial. So let me go ahead, get things set up. We'll come back and we'll start working on this box. All right, friends, I'd like to start on the inside. I don't know why, it's just the way I like to work. So the first thing I did was cut an 8-inch by 6 3/8 inch panel of this acorn and blue-green text. And I scored it at 3.5. So our base is 4.5. And then I just folded it. I wrapped a piece of twine around it, tied these put these two little charms on a jump ring, tied them onto the twine, and then tied a bow. So this will be like a little flap page when we get to that point. I'm just doing kind of the basics here. And then I've lined the sides with this same patterned paper, and I can see I need to lift this one up. It went in crooked. The sides, the corners on this box are not completely square. So it's a little challenging cutting the paper, but I went for the long sides. I went 6 3/4 by 1 3/8, and that seemed to work pretty well. It's not 100% perfect, but it is very, very close. It's just difficult to do with the sides that are not square, the corners that are not square. So, and here is 4 3/4 by 1 3/8. And I've inked all my edges with ground espresso. So I've got this little panel left that is 4 by 6 3/8 left from cutting this piece over here. And it's not quite wide enough to fill the bottom. And I don't mind, that's why I painted the edges and the corners, because I knew that we would have some of that. But I want this to fit a little bit better than that. So I've cut some 5/8 inch strips. The long sides are, of course, the 6 3/4, and the short sides are the 4 3/4. And we're just going to make a mitered corner background. And to do this, just put your paper ends together. This is the 4 3/4. This is the 6 3/4. You want them to be perpendicular, and you're going to cut from the outside edge, the inside edge to the outside edge, and then ink up this little place on each side. And you're going to do this all the way around. And when you get done, you will have mitered corners, and you'll fill in that little gap, and it will look really neat. So I'm showing you this one very quickly so that you will see what I'm doing. All right, so these are gonna sit right in here just as nice as you please, and then you'll put this piece, ink your edges, and put this piece down on top. So I'll come back and show you how that looks when it's done. So there you go. And it's not perfect because, like I said, the corners are not perfect, but it looks really neat, and I'm happy with that. I'm not going to do anything here on the sides because I like the way it looks like old book pages. So I'm going to leave that exactly the way it is. All right, so what I've done is I cut two. This is from the 12 by 12 paper pad, and these are 5 1/8 by 7 3/8 of this ledger paper. And on the front, I distressed it, inked it, and then I stitched on top of it this 4 3/4 by 7 inch piece of the green plaid. And we're just going to put this down on our box cover. And I'm being generous. I want this to stick. Sometimes when you have a lot of ink and stuff, and also paper mache, I find sometimes is not the most receptive to glue. So I'm just gonna center this up. I love, love, love the painted mixed media background on this. It really looks old and aged. I love old books anyway, so this is already making me happy. I'm just using my bone folder to help spread that glue out and get it really affixed onto the cover. Just come in and wipe up. But you can see the gesso does a great job here. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to come in with 1/2-inch score tape. And I debated adding a ribbon closure, but at the end of the day, I decided I really did want to do that. So I'm just eyeballing this approximately center. Remember, with score tape, you always have to burnish it down or it's just not gonna do its job. And then I have about 1 yard of this brown tartan plaid from Really Reasonable Ribbon. And I'm gonna peel back my liner. And I will come back with my little tool and clean that little overhang off, but I wanted this to be straight because since it's plaid, look how cool that back spine looks. I really love that. So this is just down. Then our elements that we put on top will help to hold that in. All right, friends, let's start putting this cover art together. I've cut out this 4x6 and matted it on a larger piece of this is burlap paper that I had in my stash, and inked around the edges, distressed and inked around the edges with my ground espresso. And we're going to glue this down to our cover. So it's just inside our stitching because we don't want to cover up that pretty stitching. Then the next layer is this window that I cut from another 4x6, and I've backed this with foam tape. I trimmed this out of the 4x6 so that it had shaped sides and a little more dimension. All right. So we're going to center this. Actually, I want to put this a little bit over from center. Just about like that. Okay. So there's that. Then I fussy cut our little squirrel from that cut apart sheet. And I also fussy cut the cardinal on the branch, but I covered it up with the squirrel because I wanted the squirrel to be dimensional. And we're going to put this down, and I've put foam in between my layers of the little leaves and pine cones and stuff like that, so that this can sit down in this window like this. Then this is Rene Bouquets. These are acorn. I think they're called acorn corners. I'm not sure. I will link though on my blog on the supply list so that it's accurately named and you can find it easily. These are beautiful and they go so well with this collection. I'm just backing these with a little bit of foam tape. All right. And these are going to sit right up here in this corner. And I did ink the edges with my ground espresso. Then this little acorn corner, we're going to just glue right down flat. We're not going to put any dimensionals on it. This is just going to go right here. And I'll come back once we're finished with everything we're doing, and I'll put little foam pieces back behind all this stuff to make it more secure. And then I have one more acorn piece, but I'm not sure where I want to put that yet. So we're just going to wait a moment on that. All right, I think that's down there now. I'm going to take this small acorn and I'm going to put it right here. And I've got foam tape back behind it. There we go. Just to kind of fill that all in and make everything look like it's cohesive. I'm going to take my dries clear adhesive and I'm going to put it down here. And this is going to actually make this squirrel round out, which is a really, it makes it look even more dimensional. And I'm going to do the same thing over here under the tail. And then right here with this little acorn. Okay. Then I went into my stash of vintage buttons and I found this fantastic button. Isn't that beautiful? And it's so perfect right there. So I want that right there. And now I want to add some leaves and flowers and such. So these are some old Prima. I've had these for quite a while. I'm tucking this kind of underneath my window. And then this one I'm going to put right here. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. All right, so we kind of created our little turn here. And then these are some really reasonable ribbon flowers. I think these are lotus flowers. And these are, I'm not sure if she still has these, but I will definitely check. And if she does, I will link to them because they're pretty with this. just tucking these in. So just a simple little, not too much, right? And then I actually bought some star anise because I love it on fall and Christmas projects. Plus it smells really good. So I'm going to take a little piece of this. Tuck it in right there. That piece in there, it just adds that wonderful natural element to our arrangement. And let's see. Yeah, I like that. That looks really good. Okay, I think we're good here. I think that is good. I want to figure out what we're going to do on our spine next. All right, friends, I've finished up with the cover. I've added a couple little burlap bows under our florals cluster just to finish them off. And then I did a little dangle charm on the spine. I added this swivel lobster clasp. Because this is paper mache and because of the way the box is shaped, I had to punch a hole with an awl through the top and then thread my baker's twine through and add the swivel clip. But I've got some autumn leaves and this pretty amber stone, a little fox, a little bunny rabbit. Super sweet. So real woodland feeling. The charms are from Renee Bouquets. And that is all we're going to get done for today. Tomorrow we will finish the inside, or not tomorrow, Thursday. We'll finish the inside, but until then you can work on this. You can get your box painted. That takes quite a while to dry, and get all your cover pieces put together, and then we'll be ready to work on the inside together. So stay tuned for Thursday. It's going to be really fun. This is Kathy Clement with Kathy Pie Design. Go get your craft on. Bye.